So the technique that's being used here to break the programming is it's an inundation in the field, in the society, with far out sort of theories and notions, outlandish ideas, stuff that normally, I don't know, back a few years when we were growing up perhaps, stuff that would be like if you heard it, you would just go into some sort of shock, or you would run crying to mom, and like a monster popped out of behind your bed or something. If you heard any one of these kind of ideas that are being given now, and the purpose and point of this is that the sleepers have been sleeping for so long, it takes something quite drastic to wake them up, but it has to be done correctly. And that's why the whole lead up of the political situation, it slowly got more and more outlandish and more absurd, and the talking heads slowly but surely became more and more far removed from the populace they are supposed to represent. And through that political degradation into absurdity was carried within it the seed of the possibility of somebody like Og, where his ideas blow all that shit completely out the water. And but if he hadn't been prepped, so to speak, with the political ramping up of absurdity, then, and that's not the political thing isn't the only arena that was doing that, but that's just an example. But if you weren't prepared, if you weren't prepped by the political ramping up, then when somebody like Og would come along and start talking about timeline shifts and cloning and all this stuff that from our not so distant past just belonged in sci-fi, and not necessarily, kind of bad sci-fi almost, especially if there are a lot of horror stories in there about pedophilia and raping and just pure evil, essentially. So, but the idea is that the political deal set the mental stage for what Og and others like him are doing. And also the idea isn't that we want all this to manifest out into the plane. That's not the idea either. And it's not, the idea also isn't that we're supposed to believe verbatim everything that Og or anybody else is saying. The idea is that they're creating a polarity extreme. Since we've been sleeping for so long, okay, they're creating a polarity extreme on either end. They're saying this is the worst possible situation. This is demons raping and eating people, okay, for all of eternity, and variations of that. And then they're contrasting it with, and heaven, or the highest possibility, is when everything is pure energetic form and it's all play, yet it's infinite and perfect at the same time, and you can't ever get bored of it because the memory forgetting follows you in a perfect trail, and it's God, essentially. Okay, they're contrasting, so they're setting up the outside limits for the sleeper, for the awakening sleeper, and then the awakening sleeper won't feel so upset about moving 1 millimeter off of their stuck point that they've been at for so long. So now they can move 1 millimeter off to the left, and they're like, okay, well, I'm not in hell, and I'm not, floating around in perfect bliss with all of my thoughts and ideas being manifested instantly. Okay, so I'm not bumping up against the bad, like the crazy stuff. That stuff, you guys can have that. But now, since I know that you guys are doing that, I can just move. I can move, just a little bit over here. I can wiggle around a little bit, And I feel okay doing that. And I don't feel like I'm going to get condemned to hell for doing that anymore, because I've seen the possibilities on either side, on either extreme. So that's what we're doing. That's what the whole concept is, that you're setting up the polarity extremes, and then you're allowing yourself more wiggle room from that stuck center line that you've been at for so long. That's it.